Joining us now is former Trump impeachment lawyer David Schoen and Harmeet Dhillon, chairwoman of the Republican National Lawyers Association. David, tonight the Washington Post published the latest leaks from the Biden DOJ. All of this is feeling a little familiar to me. How about you?
Yeah, of course. Listen, it's a complete political partisan weaponization of the process, and it's a very scary thing because this is a process in which, the courts for decades have said we have to have a neutral and detached magistrate overseeing things. If we can't trust this process, we're in a lot of trouble, not just when a president's records are seized, but, all of us are in danger. If we can't trust the integrity of the process, once it becomes politicized, we're all in a heap of trouble.
So on this column that David Rivkin wrote, Harmeet, about the legal basis underlying this raid, this search warrant, your thoughts on that, given the Presidential Records Act issue?
Well, it was a very interesting piece by Rivkin and Casey, and they essentially said that no matter what this search warrant said, the Presidential Records Act provides very broad protection for former presidents to take these papers, and it goes through how there are up to 12 years that a president working in conjunction with the archives can keep the public from seeing these papers. But what's important is that the statute does not specify the time, place, and manner of the handover of those documents to the archives. And so here, the archives are effectively using the DOJ and the FBI as their goons to get these papers back. They're not entitled to these papers. And in fact, other presidents, including Obama, have gone through the same process. They're keeping these documents from the public, and they're, taking their sweet time. So why is Trump being treated differently? I think we all know why. And I think that the fact that there are evolving justifications and also nightly leaks about this process also underlines this is purely political in nature and not about any important government records.
Yeah, I mean, David, just stay on this issue of the leaks for a moment. We're supposed to believe that the FBI and the DOJ are acting in good faith without political bias or retribution for anyone, including the former president of the United States. How do these leaks do anything but undercut that? And if not, then why doesn't Merrick Garland get up before cameras tomorrow and say, these leaks have got to stop? We're going to find out who did this, and they're going to be subject to whatever, punishment or legal ramifications that are possible here. Well, isn't he outraged by this?
Yeah, right. You're 100% right, and of course he should. However, I have to say, I think that today, at least half the country wouldn't believe him if he said it. He came out and said, in this case and in the Bannon case, this reflects the equal application of the laws. No reasonable person really believes that this raid on President Trump's compound was the equal application of the laws. And by the way, I think this lack of confidence in the Justice Department really makes the so-called taint team or filter team process problematic. In 2019, the Fourth Circuit said that this process isn't appropriate anyway. This process is supposedly having a segregated team from the prosecution team reviewing documents. At the end of the day, they're still their same DOJ colleagues. And so the Fourth Circuit said it's the improper allocation of judicial function to the executive branch. And that's why, one of the reasons, the special master has been requested here. Although, I'm a little disappointed that they waited so long to request it. That was the obvious move in this case. We saw it in Giuliani and in other cases. That's what has to be done. In the old days, we might have asked for a special, filter team or a taint team. But with this politicalization, you cannot have that in this Justice Department.
Harmeet, yes or no, was it too late to file the special master motion? I mean, it's being kind of poo-pooed by people, but I don't think it's too late.
Well, I agree with David's comments. I mean, and timing earlier could have been better, but there may be good reasons why they didn't. But in any event, right now, having that in place will allow, if it were granted, the special master to re-review, redesignate, if necessary, segregate, claw back, give back, and do all of that under the scrutiny of a district court judge. And so I do think that that's important. It needs to be done here. Judge Cannon, I think, apparently got this case by random draw. And so, let's see what she does with it. Let's see what happens later this week.
Yeah, she seems to be fair-minded by all accounts. David and Harmeet, thank you both tonight.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.